Miss Darlene. I'm going to introduce her so we can stay on time because it's
Hi, guys.
4:15 somewhere else. Keep smiling, Jerry. Thank you so
I
much for
will.
coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let me get Miss Darlene. I have you, Miss Darlene. I have you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sending over your information. And I'm just gonna do a little intro and make sure that I'm still on here. Okay. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay. Y'all can still hear me. I don't. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you this morning?
I am magnificent. Yes, yes. Like I'm magnificent. I'm loving this. Okay. So I'm gonna give a brief intro and then I'm gonna let you take it away, Queen. Okay.
All
So
right.
Darlene Thorne, MD, IV, please correct me if I'm wrong, is your caregiver's co-mentor as ordained minister and founder of A Heart After the Father LLC. With the mission to empower women caregivers, she guides them in creating personalized self-care blueprints that nurture the body, soul, and spirit. And with that, I'm going to introduce Miss Darlene. How are you again?
Oh, I'm wonderful. And what a privilege and an honor it is to be here with you this morning. It is, as you said, 4:15 a.m. and I'm super excited to be here. I'd like to say a special thank you to my dear friend for many years, Dr. Smile, Dr. Roz Knighton Warfield, who made this possible. She introduced me to our dear brother Ken. Oh
Beautiful.
my goodness. And so it is amazing to be here with you all this morning. And I am excited. As you can see, there's a smile on my face because I know one thing. If it had not been for my father who woke me this morning, I would not be here right now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I'm going to give you the floor. Please take your time and just let us know why you smiling on this 24-hour Smile-A-Thon day.
24 hours of smiles. Well, I remember the moment I realized that my smile had disappeared. It wasn't stolen, it faded slowly, quietly, like steam on a mirror. I was standing in the kitchen spooning applesauce into a bowl when my daughter looked up at me and asked, "Mommy, are you happy?" I froze. I smiled at her, but it wasn't real. In that instant, I realized I'd been caregiving, but I hadn't been living. You see, caregivers are often seen as strong, compassionate, and selfless. But here's what's often overlooked: we can forget how to smile, not because we're bitter, but because we're buried. Caregiving is love in action, it's holy work. But let's be honest, it's also exhausting, isolating, and often unrecognized. The CDC reports that 70% of caregivers experience clinical signs of depression. And many caregivers suffer from the chronic sorrow. It's a continual cycle of grief, loss, and adaptation. We become so focused on others, we forget about ourselves, our joy, our identity, our smile. Here's the truth: you can give care and still lose yourself in the process. But you can also reclaim joy intentionally. This is what Care to Smile is all about. When I say smile, I don't mean pretending. I mean soul joy, inner lightness, a reminder that you matter too. Let's redefine smile as a symbol of self-compassion. And as you've heard before, Dr. Smile, Dr. Roz says, simply make intentional love encounters. Well, my SMILE acronym goes a little like this. S is for stillness. Create moments to breathe and reflect. Mindfulness is letter M. Be present with yourself, not just the person you're caring for. I, identity. Remember who you are beyond your role. Laughter is L. Laughter, let joy back in, even if it's in small doses. And E, empowerment. Make choices that continually fill your cup. You see, smiling is a spiritual rebellion against burnout. And something else about us caregivers carry invisible burdens, guilt for wanting a break, shame for snapping under pressure, fear that if we stop, it'll all fall apart. It all depends on us. Mm-mm. These emotions steal our smile. And culture doesn't help. Huh. Culture glorifies the grind, not the grace. But here's what I tell every caregiver I coach. You are the source. You are not the source. You are the vessel. Let me say that again. You are not the source. You are the vessel. When you smile, you restore your joy. You give from wholeness and not from wounds. I remember once I sat on the edge of my bed and I felt like I had nothing left to give. My calendar was full, my phone was ringing, but my body was weary. And then I happened to find an old picture of myself. I was smiling so wide, so free, so alive. And I whispered, "Hmm, I miss her." And that was the moment I chose to care for myself again. I started scheduling joy appointments and I picked up journaling. I asked for help. I gave myself permission to laugh. And slowly, I remembered how to smile. So here's my question to you. Do you care to smile? Not for appearance, not for others, but for you. Because when caregivers smile, we model resilience. We restore our inner strength. We reflect the dignity of life that we support. Your smile is your protest. Your smile is your power. Your smile is your peace. So I challenge every caregiver, every leader, every helper listening. schedule one joyful thing this week just for you. Look in the mirror and speak life that's been holding it all together. And remember, you don't need permission to smile. You just need to choose it. Because when you care to smile, you don't just change your face. Nah, you change your faith. You change your flow. You change your future. You see, it was November of 2019 when my life changed. I remember I was going to get my hair done and I was going to say goodbye to my husband. And I was calling out my husband's name, Kevin, I'm getting ready to go. And he didn't answer me. Now I saw his sneakers, they were sitting on the floor, and I knew he hadn't gone out yet. And so I'm looking around the house for him to give him a kiss goodbye. And I found him, yeah. I found him in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet with his head down. I got closer and called out his name. And when I lifted his head to look at his face, it looked as though he were not there. Finally, when I caught my breath, I called 911, and immediately paramedics, the fire trucks, EMTs, they're all out there. When they come in and take his blood pressure, it is through the roof. They immediately whisk him off to the hospital, and we've come to find out that he had had a brain bleed, a stroke. It was at that moment that I became his primary caregiver. 6 months later, when he returns home, I'm super excited that we're going to continue to do our life together. We already been married well over 30 years. So I knew I'm so glad my husband is back home. I made sure that he had his medicines. I made sure that he got to his doctor's appointments. I made sure he was taken care of fully. But I also remember the night that he woke up and he was frustrated and fidgety. And I said, honey, what's wrong? And he says, who are you? And I says, I'm your wife, Darlene. And he says, you're not my wife. All of the pain, the frustration, the guilt, all of the things. I was taking care of him, making sure he had everything, and wasn't watching out for me because I found myself in the hospital with an asthma attack induced by stress. And while I'm in that hospital, I'm thinking, if I'm in here, who is with my husband? And it was at that moment that I determined I am not going to try and be superwoman and try and do this all by myself. And I began to write down the names of my tribe, the names of my support group. And I began to build my support group. And now, years later, with the support of my family, with the support of my friends, my husband and I are doing excellent. We're not where we want to be, but we're not where we once were. And so my encouragement to you is, if you're frustrated, if you are feeling the things, be courageous, be strong, and build your community. I'm Darlene Thorne, your caregiver's co-mentor, the one who helps others build their community. Caregivers, it's time to stop just surviving. Care to smile and start living again.
There was a few times I wanted to take my fan. You know how you go in church, you be like, preach. Teach. There's a few times. You see, but my fan is used for these personal summers I be having. Okay. But I'm just saying, I love it. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna have to check with my big brother too. I'm gonna make sure I can start calling you Auntie Darlene. Be like, Ken, how's Auntie Darlene doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for sharing your story because you made me smile. You made me just take a minute back to reflect because it's so right about caregivers. We have to learn how to put ourselves first.
Absolutely.
Um, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Um, I don't want to go over because, like I said, it can be on us. Can't look at this connection. But if we have more time, I would say, okay, come on, Auntie Darling, give us about 5 more minutes.
Well, right there on the screen, you can see where you can connect with me. So those of you
Awesome.
check out my background so y'all can connect with me. I would love to stay connected with you all. Ms. England, you are amazing. And I'm so thankful for Ken and all that are with him that have put this together. It has been so delicious.